Aloha party people, you are listening to Inside the Desert Oasis Room, episode number 182. This episode is sponsored by the Tiki Bar T-Shirt Club, where their monthly t-shirt designs pay tribute to a Polynesian bar or restaurant from days long past. Each design is available for a limited time and will never be produced again. For more information and to check out this month's shirt, visit tikibartshirtclub.com. This episode is also sponsored by the Law Office of Jared Allen, specialist in DUI defense and more. To request a free consultation, contact them today at jsazlaw.com or call them directly at 602-456-1982. Before we get started, I want to apologize for the audio quality on this episode. I picked up a new set of wireless microphones, and this is the first time I use them, so I'm still trying to figure out the best way to configure them. I think it's passable, but it's not the same quality that I'm used to delivering to you guys, so please forgive me. In any case, we recorded this episode with one of our Desert Oasis Room regulars, Ross the Tiki Boss Aliotti, and our new friend, Jared Allen. This is recorded on Halloween weekend, and so we intended to record an episode filled with ghost stories, but as the way many conversations go, we ended up wandering into other fun topics instead. But nevertheless, we bring you along for the chaos as usual. If you enjoy this episode or any of our previous episodes, do us a favor and please leave us a good rating. Doing so helps boost our presence and helps people find the show. And if you'd like to help support us during this weird and challenging time, stop by desertoasisroom.com to check out our merch or leave us a tip. Any purchase or donation, no matter the size, really does help this podcast stay on the air. Okay, let's get to the episode. If you haven't already, make yourself a drink and strap on your seatbelts. And join us inside the Desert Oasis Room with Ross the Tiki Boss Aliotti and our new friend, Jared Allen.
Desert Oasis Room.
Let me make you guys a drink.
Yes, let's do that. Part of the drink. You have a water while you're making a drink?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's some back here.
I drink a whole bottle of champagne for brunch.
Not the whole one.
Jared did have a little bit.
All right, so I'm going to start with pineapple daiquiris. Okay?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds great.
All right. I'm going to use this Tiki Lovers rum. It's a pineapple rum. The only other pineapple rum that I've used is the Plantation, which I really, really love. But this stuff works pretty good too.
No, it's good. Of course, I only know about it because of Johan.
Yeah.
Every time the Tiki Lovers rum comes up, people say really good things, but they're often like skeptical at first. Oh, sorry, because they're just like, the name's like Tiki Lovers, it's a little weird. And
it's
they
kind
drink
of a
it,
weird
like,
name.
This is actually a decent product.
Well, you know, the thing is, it's made by the people behind The Bitter Truth.
Yeah.
And they know their cocktails.
Stefan.
And they know their stuff.
Yeah, they're good. I met those guys. They're good. They're good dudes.
guys.
I met them in Undertow. Were you there when they came to Undertow? They brought their falernum and their what else did they bring? They brought like 3 different products. I know the falernum was one of them because I hadn't tasted it before.
They probably brought the pineapple and the.
They weren't doing rum then.
Oh.
So they were only doing their bitters.
Okay.
You know what? This was actually before I think Jason was doing the full on.
Like educational stuff?
Yeah, it was just like invite only kind of stuff, like a thing. And I think I came with Richard like as a guest because he got invited.
I didn't get to go like when Martin and Rebecca came down like with their book and stuff too, like early on. Like I wasn't like aware of it, you know, because I know you had a couple things like that.
Yeah. I think in the beginning, like that first thing when Martin and Rebecca came with the book, it was free. It was on Eventbrite. It was just like, hey, if you want to come, Plantation sponsored it, so they were paying for it. he was out there doing his OFTD, and everybody's probably heard Martin talk about the
story
of OFTD. He does it good every time. Like it's the first time he's told it.
Martin's a great storyteller.
Yeah, he's a great storyteller. Yeah. So I think that might have been the first time I heard it, and I've heard it multiple times since, and every time he still gets really excited when he goes, "Oh fuck, that's delicious!" Like it's the first time he's saying it, and now I'm just waiting for it, like, say it, Martin, say it. Like,
I love the story.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, I think that was what I was telling you earlier when I had just read the book for the first time, and I showed up early, and Martin was just kind of getting ready for people, and I just cornered him, and there's I had 15 questions, like, okay, why half an ounce here over a quarter ounce here, and I could be wrong, but thinking back, it didn't look like he was annoyed by it. It looked like he just nerded out. Like he's like, oh yeah, I can do this all day. Like this is fun for me. Could be wrong, but that's the impression I got at least.
Okay.
I need to ask him one day.
I'm thinking. I have to think now. I think I did 2, and then I did 2, which equals 1. I know. And then I did 1, 2, 1, 1. Okay, so I need to do that again. So, okay. I hope I don't screw this up.
Adrian we're recording, right?
We're recording.
If anyone's listening, Adrian is fucking up a 3-ingredient cocktail right now, and he hasn't even gotten drunk yet.
I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, guys.
Understandable.
All right.
I met Martin at Undertow when he came to do like a presentation that Jason had him do. But then last year at Tiki Oasis in Arizona, I just approached him and then Rebecca walking around because I had gotten a book by then and wanted them to sign it, but I forgot to bring it to the Undertow event. So I felt like super annoying, and I was like, hey, I hate to bother you guys. Like, can you sign this for me? And they were so cool about it.
Yeah.
Whoa, we love.
They're good people.
Love
they are.
People,
they really are.
fans, yeah.
Rebecca's a sweetheart, for sure.
All right. Let's see if I screwed this one up.
Adrian, so what is in terms of vicinity? What's the closest tiki bar to you? Like, not the best or the one you like the most. But if you were just getting in the car and you had to go, what's
the closest other than the Desert Oasis Room?
Yes,
would be Trader Sam's.
Commercial tiki bar.
It would be Trader Sam's.
Really, Trader Sam's is the closest.
It's probably.
And you don't even go there.
30
often.
minutes. Yeah.
All right.
Probably 30 minutes.
Well, that's not far. Yeah.
Well, I've been there from here one time, but it was in traffic and rain. It took me like an hour and a half almost. Like,
I'm trying to figure out what's off on this.
it tastes
Come here.
off.
Come here.
All right.
Tastes okay, but maybe I'm just messing with my head because I was talking with you guys and I wasn't paying attention.
No, it's fine.
It's fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. That's what I was thinking. Because I thought, oh, maybe it's just all in my head. All right.
It's a really I don't say strong, but you definitely know it's pineapple.
Yeah, so it's a different flavor than and that's probably what I'm thinking. Is I'm expecting the taste of the plantation.
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, this is not a Stiggins daiquiri, but
yeah.
It's a pineapple daiquiri, and it's good in a different way. It almost tastes more pineapple. Well,
all right. If you say so. All right, so for our listeners out there, it's Halloween weekend, and we were talking about doing a Halloween episode. One of the things that I do is I ask my guests on the program to tell us a scary story, with the intention of saving them all and editing into a Halloween episode. And I've done that in the past.
yeah, I've heard them.
And it's extra work, so I don't do it anymore. And so I thought, well, why don't we record one? But, I think Ross told us that he doesn't have a scary story.
I'm sure. I don't think. I don't know.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, sir.
my favorite ones are the scary stories that come from the atheists that say they don't believe in the afterlife. And they don't believe in, any of that spiritual stuff. But they all have a ghost story.
Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Here's to the
Aloha.
dares. That's Halloween enough for you.
So we have a new visitor to the Desert Oasis Room. And we have a tradition for everyone that's gone here for the first time. And I want to talk about this, traditions and rituals and practices and stuff like that. I have a ritual, tradition, practice, whatever you want to call it, that I do every year on my birthday.
and I do my birthday at the Tiki Tea typically every year. And what it is I bring a dozen balut eggs. Do you know what balut is?
Yes.
So he's thinking, I gotta have a balut right now, right? No, because it's not my birthday. Just saying balut. But, I'm about to go to the bathroom.
So
I live by a couple of philosophies, and one of them is you versus yourself, right? We talked about when this quarantine first started, I felt myself getting heavier and getting more lethargic and getting more lazy, and I thought, I have to change that. And if I didn't think that, it would not have changed.
Right.
And a lot of the things that we do, and the other philosophy that I live by is, and I've said this to Ross before, if you really want something, you find a way. If you really don't, you find an excuse. So it's really you versus yourself. That's a mantra that I live by, right? You versus yourself. And the whole balut thing is part of that. So I bring the balut to the Tiki Tea. I started doing this many years ago, and I would bring 12. I bring a dozen. And the first time I did it, I think the last egg didn't get eaten until maybe 10 o'clock at night. Now, I show up there at around, they open at 4, I show up around 3:30 so I can go in and get my bar stool.
Good.
Yeah, and so it took 6 hours for a dozen of them to get eaten. Fast forward a few years, and they would all be gone in the first 20 or 30 minutes. And so I want to do a shout out to my friends that would actually do that for me and with me. And they would do it for me and with me because it was my birthday. And I would say, hey, look, this means a lot to me. This is my birthday tradition. And they'd say, fuck. All right, I'll do it, because they're my friend. Yep. And so thank you to my friends that have done it. And you know who you are. And here's why I do it.
Should you explain really quick for the listeners who don't know what balut is?
Thank you. So, balut is a fertilized duck egg. And what I mean by that is it is not an egg that when you crack it open, it's an egg yolk and egg whites. If you crack it open, it's actually a developed duck.
Half developed.
Half developed. It's fertilized. It's a fertilized duck egg. The duck is cooked.
A little fur on the eggs.
You're not eating a raw duck. And this is the whole point of the balut. This is the whole point of why I do it. So when you eat the duck, everyone says, every time they eat it, everyone says, oh, that's not bad at all. It just tastes like a hard-boiled egg. And I say, yeah, you versus yourself. That's the whole point, is that there are people that, they start coughing and throwing up before they even, just the thought in their head. And I'm like, dude, the only one who's psyching you out is you. Because everyone else here already did it, and they're already drinking and smiling and laughing and taking group pictures. So the only one that's psyching you out is you. That's the you versus yourself exercise. And the reason why I do it every year is it's to remind people that, look, you can get past this. Most of the time, what you are scared of is really nothing to be scared of. It will taste like a hard-boiled egg. It won't taste like anything else. And you'll eat the fully developed duck. You'll eat the scrambled egg. You'll eat the hard-boiled egg. Why is it that at this stage you'll eat it, at that stage you'll eat it, but at this one, you won't? It's not a raw, uncooked duck. It's cooked.
Why do you even certain animals you go are gross, but everybody loves a steak. That's just a chunk of an animal. It's dude, we've known that for our whole lives. It's comfortable with it.
One of the things that Filipinos do for celebrations is they roast a pig. And we put this pig on banana leaves, and we adorn it, and then we chop it all up, and we enjoy this pig. And it's heavenly. And people will eat bacon, they'll eat pork chops, they'll eat all kinds of stuff that's made with pork.
Right.
But one time I was at an event where there was a pig there, and I was cutting a piece, and I overheard a guy behind me look at it and say to his friend, yeah, I like bacon and all that, but I don't know if I could eat it off it like that. I don't know if I could eat it like that. And I'm like, you versus yourself, dude. Yeah. You versus yourself.
You know?
Well,
So-
I'm Mexican. I eat menudo, so I love lengua. I love
lengua.
Cheeks. I love the tongue.
Yeah.
I mean, last time we were together,
You had
what did I have?
cabeza.
I had a cabeza burrito.
Yeah.
I was just going.
So for our listeners out there, I would challenge you to think about what is the you versus yourself moment. Is it getting on a treadmill for 10 minutes? Is it you saying like, you know what? Like, what's 10 minutes going to do? It's not even worth the effort. Think about that. So get on that treadmill, break open that balut, and do one for us here at Inside the Desert Oasis Room, and tag us, send us a message or a post or something, and we'll share that victory with you, and celebrate that, because it's just that, it's such a cliche. It's that first step.
Yeah.
Right? So,
and I suffer from that. New things kind of freak me out a little bit.
change sucks.
Always has since the time I was a kid. In fact, I see it in my daughter. Like it's in our genes a little bit. Like sometimes if I don't know where, like if I'm going to go somewhere for the first time and I don't know what the parking situation's like, or like how you get in, or what the tickets like. I don't like that feeling. I don't like. But once I've done it and I've gone through it, and I'm like, okay, now I know where I'm going. Like. I mean, even still to this day, if I'm driving to the Tiki, I get a little bit like, oh, shit, where am I gonna park? Like, it gives me like anxiety a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, you're like you said, it's you versus yourself.
It's you
Like,
versus yourself.
You're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be okay. Like,
Yeah. And so
it's
like
your fears.
I wanted to change gears because I wanted to have this be a positive weekend. I know that it's Halloween weekend. We are coming into Dia de los Muertos, where we're going to be celebrating those that have passed before us, and we want to make this kind of a positive thing. So what I thought would be fun is if we did some of these questions that I like to ask our visitors.
You got questions?
Now, I wanted to.
So we're not eating balut.
I wanted to just like we're not going to eat balut. We're not going to be eating balut.
God,
but I do have a tradition, right, for
All right.
all new visitors to the Desert Oasis Room. Have you ever had a green lizard?
I'm not new. Yeah, I have had the green lizard.
It's horrible. So what the green lizard is I hate it. It's 151 with a float of green chartreuse. It's horrible.
That sounds bad.
Is it 50-50 or is it just a float?
So you only have to do one shot.
Okay.
So I'm just kidding. This shot glass is almost as tall as this Collins glass.
Oh, that's not a shot glass.
I love how you both had this look of stunned.
You can kill somebody with
So
that.
yeah, I know. So no, I can't. I'm not gonna kill somebody with that.
You could.
It depends what you put in it. So
No, I mean if you hit somebody with that glass.
let the record show that Jared was down. So that's it. That's it. Okay.
I
look,
wasn't.
you versus yourself. That was an example of you versus yourself, right? He could have been like, oh, you know what? I gotta drive. He was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
All right,
I could have
do
been
it.
responsible.
Let's do it. All right, so that's it. That's
So
it.
we're not
That's
having
all.
balut and we're not having
No, we're not.
green lizard.
I won't make you suffer
Stop
through that.
teasing me.
But
What are we doing?
but while we go through the second drink
Now I'm
here,
craving both.
let's have a second drink. So while we do our second drink,
Okay.
let's answer some fun questions, because these are questions that I love to ask our guests. And now that I have my questions in front of me, I have questions that I haven't asked because I don't always remember these. I ask the superpower question a lot. Have you heard that before on a previous episode, Jared?
Probably. Yeah, like just, yeah.
If you could pick any superpower, what would you choose? And
I
some
know
of the
your answer
examples.
because I've heard it so many times.
Yeah, some of the
Eat
examples. I
anything you
use.
want and not gain weight.
Eat whatever you want
That
without
would be a
getting
pretty
fat.
good superpower,
Yeah, without getting
yeah.
fat. And be able to communicate with your pets. Be able to speak any language.
I don't care
Yes.
about pets.
And one of the best ones for me is
talking to them.
teleportation.
That's that. Yeah, that's
So we can go to the Maikai for happy hour.
Yes.
right now.
Or we could go to Hawaii for lunch.
That is a superpower I would definitely
That's a
like.
great one. So I don't know if you've thought about that. Do you have one? And have you ever answered this, Ross?
I don't think I have.
Okay, so you guys think
Thinking
about
about
that
it,
while
okay.
I make the next drink. And I'm going to wing this next one, so let's see what happens.
Do what you do, Adrian.
All right.
You're the
I
bartender.
can't guarantee that it's going to be any good, but
If it's gonna have booze in it, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
think of your superpower.
I got one. I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna wait till like I think I know what it like. See, I'm greedy. I want something that encompasses all like.
Well,
So it's like Superman. Like Superman can do like why would any all the other different like okay you can run fast, you can do this. Superman can do all that shit.
He's not invisible. He can't read minds. He
He
can't
can
do
move
everything.
so fast that you can't see him. That's invisible.
Have you ever heard the joke? Superman's flying along one day, and he sees Wonder Woman laying naked in a field.
Yes.
Have you heard
never
this?
heard
Yes. Yes.
She's laying naked in a field, and she appears to be in pleasure,
The throes of passion. Yeah.
the throes of passion.
With another person or
She's laying by herself in a
oh,
field,
okay, I got you.
naked, and she appears to be enjoying herself sexually.
I got you. All right.
So Superman's flying along.
I'm hard.
And he's looking at her and he's thinking, well, I'm Superman. I could fly down there real fast, boom, 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 and fly away, and she wouldn't even know what hit her. So he's like, fuck it. So he goes, phew, boom, 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 phew, flies away. And
So Superman's
Wonder
a
Woman,
rapist in this?
Wonder Woman is like,
To be fair, yeah.
Wonder Woman is like, stunned, and she's just like, her head's bobbling around. She's like, oh my God, what was that? And the Invisible Man says, I don't know, but my butt fucking hurts.
That is good.
I feel like I heard that joke
Yeah.
like a child.
I've
I
never
heard it when I was 13 years old.
I've never heard that. I never heard that.
So when I said, have you heard that joke? And Jared's like, I have. I'm like, of course you have. Of course you have.
I'm gonna tell that joke.
It's a great joke.
It is a
I
great
mean, it's cheesy, but it's fucking funny. Like,
It's a good
All right, superpower.
I need more time to think about it. But my first instinct is to say to stop time.
Oh,
Pause
so
time.
you could say time travel.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to time travel. I want to pause time.
Pause time.
I want to just like the movie Click, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
But time can't go on while it's paused. Like, and I shouldn't age either. Like,
So,
I could just like I want
yeah,
to
just stop it.
Take a
I just
break
want to.
from
Yeah,
life.
I just want to. Well, I can do whatever I want too, because like. I can go now to the Maikai. No one else is moving. By the time I get there, it'll still be today. It's going to take me a while. But by the time I get there, and I haven't lost any time. I just,
Someone said they wanted a reset button or a do-over button.
yeah, that's a good one.
Is it related to that? It's a little bit different.
Oh, that's even better. Like, how many times do you make a mistake and we're like, fuck, I wish I could
Every
go
day.
back.
Right? We're human.
Regret,
When I hear
like-
someone say, oh, I don't have any regrets, bullshit, you're human. Every person has had regrets. We've all done something that we wish we didn't do or said something we wish we didn't say.
Yeah, that bothers me. I think what they mean is like I take everything as a learning experience, which is fine, but
It's still
going
bullshit.
back,
It's still bullshit. You're still
wouldn't
going to
wanna-
have
yeah,
regrets.
yeah,
It's still a human trait.
If you've lived your whole life and you can't look back at one moment and go, I wish I would have went A versus B,
Right.
you're full of shit.
You're full of shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry to anybody that's listening that disagrees, but I'm calling you
No,
out.
you're right.
You're a
Like
bullshitter.
It's nice to think, like, okay, I don't have any regrets.
I've
in
lived life with
like,
no
I'm
regrets. I live
happy.
life to the full.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, clearly, like things have happened in your life that you wish had not happened that way. Yeah.
Even if you were like, I wouldn't.
And everyone's
I should
question-
have got cheese on that Whopper. Like, I mean, it doesn't even matter how big the regret
Sure.
is.
Everyone's
You can't-
questioned a decision in their life.
You can't have lived this long and been like, ooh,
Yeah.
that was a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like again, you could look at it. Well, I learned from that, and so in the context of my life, it helped me become who I was, and I get that. But yeah, it's a kind of a dick move to just be like, oh, I don't have no regrets. Really,
Yeah.
one, nothing.
When I hear that, I think like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, it's like you're just. I instantly judge that person. Maybe I'm an
Right.
asshole, but like suddenly I'm like. You're lying to yourself, like on a regular basis every day. Like, I don't know if I can trust what you say next.
I agree.
You can say, like, I have no major regrets.
Yeah.
And, even the things that I wish I would have done differently ended up being positives in my life.
Or you can
And
say I
understand
accept
that.
the mistakes that
Yeah,
I've
I accept
made.
the consequences, the mistakes that I made, and, even the things that I wish I would have done differently ended up turning. But you can't look back at a life and been like, that decision to have that last cocktail that Thursday night when I threw up all over my friend, I probably should have stopped.
Shouldn't have done it, yeah.
Drink number 10, not move on to 11. Like, so Adrian, I have a quick question, and I was going to ask you earlier, but I didn't want to do it on the podcast. Like, you know, we've talked about tiki mugs being tiki, and you can edit this out later. This is just a question I have. So, I'm looking down at some of your vintage mugs, like the bullets and the port lights. Like, these are obviously not tikis, they're Trader Vic. Like,
Yeah.
So how does that pass in your mind?
So I think that there's a little bit of a pass for things that are vintage that come from places that like Trader Vic's, because they are forefathers of creating this whole world of Polynesian pop. Okay. That was part of the history of Polynesian pop. Yeah, but these days I don't buy any of that stuff because now like I said, now I'm much more strict about my collecting criteria, considering that there's so many things that are being diluted. I just don't want to. I don't want to promote devolution.
You want to promote to be part of it. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
But at that time, when Trader Vic's created those port light glasses or those skull mugs, they weren't promoting devolution. You know, Trader Vic's was they were part of building the world of Polynesian pop. So,
I mean, do you think there's
voodoo grog? I see your voodoo grog down there.
Do you think there's a place? And because you kind of see what some of the things Trader Vic's did theme-wise, like we talk about the expansion or the limits of tiki. Like, are there types of I guess extensions that you are acceptable, like, or you find acceptable, or are the things that are besides the obvious things that just go way beyond what we would consider tiki? I mean, it's like nautical or some of these.
I think nautical goes with tiki the way cookies and milk go together.
Yeah.
And so, but if it has to be done right, and if you're wondering if it is, then it probably isn't.
Okay.
Right? It's typically like, am I doing something wrong? If you have to ask yourself, you probably are. Right.
So.
But yeah, I mean, like these days, I think that nautical. And it's also the intent is like, what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to muddy the waters because of something that we like and we want it to be tiki, or are we doing something that makes sense to keeping true to the genre?
Right, and I think that's because we
simple and obvious.
We understand tiki enough to get that concept, but I think that's where some of the people who aren't as involved in the scene maybe just kind of, or the community just look at some stuff on Facebook, go to Barbie now. It's not so clear, and that's why the confusion comes into place.
Very good, yeah, thank you.
And I just made it up, so.
And I don't disparage them for not having that. Again, not everyone's going to spend the time. There's other things going on in their life, but I don't know where I was going with that. Actually, I just lost track of what I was saying.
All right, Jared, do you have your superpower? Have you thought about it?
Yeah, I've been
yet?
thinking about like a couple of the things you said. Actually, made me like I definitely. Being able to speak like any language would definitely be an amazing superpower, especially in today's world, right? I think, not to be too similar to Ross's, but some type of ability to stop time, like even for moments or lengthier intervals, to think more through like what my choices are in something, especially in those situations where you have to make a quick decision and you wish you didn't have to make it so quickly.
You're gonna pause time right now, slap Adrian in the face, come sit back down. He never know.
What?
You just be like, why does that hurt? I can pause time. I can walk right over, snag across his face, come back, sit down.
But no, I think like in today's,
I suspect that you would do it anyway, whether you could stop time or not.
Perhaps.
I think I would definitely like to be able to speak any language, to be able to like communicate with anyone.
That's something that I and here's the thing, we can make ourselves better with that.
That's what I'm saying. That's not even
It's not even-
That's possible.
Well,
that is possible.
Any language
But I
is
guess
a
with-
superpower, I
just to
think. I
be
mean, how many
inherently-
languages are there in the world? I mean, it's possible to speak multiple languages, but not any language.
Yeah.
But it's not inconceivable as soming like pausing
It's not.
time.
I do wonder how many people, you're right. I do
You
wonder.
dedicated your life to learning every language.
Every language?
Is there a person out there, who's the person out there that not only knows multiple languages, but knows the most languages? Is there a person
Oh,
who
there's
can
got to
speak
be
the
in,
most
like the
languages?
Guinness Book of World Records or
Right.
something like
I'm
that.
curious about that.
Let's
So,
guess the number. How many languages do you think that person knows?
probably like 24 would be my guess,
I
because I,
was
think a
gonna go-
lot of them are similar, like
gonna
Italian and Spanish,
Spanish,
and
I think it's higher.
Portuguese.
I think there's got to be
and-
somebody who's know like 48 languages probably.
I don't know if there's.
What would your guess be on a number? Just
I was thinking higher. I was thinking that like if
higher
there
than
are-
24?
Yeah, that if there's
Okay.
somebody, a historian or somebody that like this is their
We're gonna look that up.
So yeah, so put a number. Let's see who's
you know.
closest.
We're gonna look that up.
Without
All right.
going over. Price
Unless
is Right
somebody
stuff.
out there knows, if you guys know, comment below, and let's see how close we are. Okay, so
I go with 60.
Okay.
I have a few here that I want to ask.
I feel like you're looking at me like I want to get Ross questions specifically. Like you got a
No.
devious look on your face, like-
Okay, so these are questions I haven't asked before. What's the weirdest thing you own?
Huh.
The weirdest thing I own.
Yeah, that's a great
It
question.
is a great question.
I
I'm
don't-
trying to
Should we go back to that?
I don't buy weird. I don't. What do I?
But here's the thing. That's objective, because what's weird to
True.
you is normal to someone else. People think all this stuff in this room is weird.
So okay, so rephrase the question. What is the thing that you find weirdest about what you own, or what you feel others
Okay.
would find? What would you prefer? What other people would think is weird, or what you, looking at what you own, think like that's kind of weird that I own that?
Okay, well, maybe we'll just skip that question then.
I have a Highlander doll that I bought. It's pretty weird. It's got like a severed head and
I've got
it's not displayed or anything. It's in a box somewhere.
I've
but
got a deck
technically I
of,
still
of
own it.
tarot cards.
I have 80s like mid 90s barrier rap tapes in a box somewhere. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Why haven't I thrown those out? I got all that shit on Spotify now, but I can't put them in the garbage.
Okay, so some of these are dark. Let's do a dark one since it's
I like
Halloween
dark, yeah.
Halloween weekend. Okay, here are two dark ones. If you only had a week to live, only week left to live, how would you live it? And then here's the second one. If you could choose how you would die, how would you choose to do that?
Jeez.
Literally, it doesn't hurt. I don't want to know. Like
Which one? The death
part.
part?
I always feel like people talk about dying in your sleep, but you don't know that dying in your sleep is
Well,
not horrible.
That's the thing, is that dying in your sleep could mean that you've been suffering from cancer for the past 3 years,
Right.
and you finally died in your sleep.
And you could you're found in your bed. That doesn't mean you didn't wake up horribly choking and like suffering and like no one was there and you were screaming for help. They just find you in your bed and they're like, oh, he died in his sleep.
You know what on this death topic, everyone's wondered how they're going to die. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've all thought about that.
Yeah, of
I
course.
wonder how I'm going to die.
I don't know about that.
And one night I
Way,
came
but-
home and I said to Steph, I think I know how I'm going to die. And I was
a weird way to
serious.
start a
And I was
conversation.
serious. And she's like, okay, well, what do you
What have you
think?
been smoking?
How is it? How do you think you're going to die? And I said, I'm going to fall asleep on the road coming home.
Oh wow.
And she's like, don't say that. And I said,
that's terrible,
because I'll be honest with you, it's happened more times than I can count, that like for a split second, all of a sudden you're like, and you're
Right.
looking around like, oh shit, how long were my eyes closed?
Yeah.
Right? Where you're so sleepy or you're so tired, but you want to power through it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's
And
happened more than
happened to me.
a couple of times to myself.
right,
Yeah.
and probably more than you can count.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly,
yeah.
and that's same with me, right? We go out on the weekends, or we see our friends, we do a road trip, like what you guys are doing right now, and these things, like, they happen. You try to power
You realize we have to drive 5 hours to Phoenix tonight.
Well, look.
Fucking asshole.
No, but here's the difference between when we're doing this alone, like you have each other, like if one of you is getting tired, you can
That's
say, hey
true.
man, can you take over for a little bit?
Or at least talk to each other.
Yeah.
Like I've done the tricks where you turn up the radio, open the sunroof
Yep.
and all the windows. I've done the tricks where like I
Literally
leave,
slapped myself.
That
yeah,
last-
Like,
slapping
Yeah.
yourself, sitting forward on the steering wheel, and I'm holding the steering wheel.
I'll
you
pull
know.
over at McDonald's and get like a big Diet Coke or something with some caffeine.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
some of that
yeah.
too.
But
I
it's
just-
like only a momentary break. Usually, if you're that tired, like you'll fall right back into it once you start.
right.
driving
Yeah.
again.
That's the problem. You open up all those windows and you're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
It's-
if you
it's
pull
true.
over and you sleep for like 10 or 15 minutes, it makes all the difference in
Yeah.
the world. Which is what I've done.
I've
Well,
done
I'll
it
pull
on
over.
rare. I've done it once, I think.
I'll pull over. I'll
Way
find
back
a
in
dark
Disneyland.
corner and I'll lay down for like 10 or 15 minutes, and it'll be enough to. I'll still be tired, but it'll be enough
it's
to
not
get me
bad.
home without being so drowsy.
I did an hour, like
Yeah.
an hour and a half one time at a road stop on the way back from Disneyland. I think, or not that long ago, like maybe a year and a half ago. Like
Anybody knock on your window?
No, I don't think so. Why?
Road stop is like a truck stop, like one of those rest area things.
Yeah, like a rest area. Yeah.
It
you
is
know-
like a little concerning.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen the
those-
movie.
Yeah.
Some of those places, like
They
you don't
seem
want to
sketchy
fall
at
asleep
night.
too long.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, I mean, I
always
was a little
scared
nervous
that
about
like
it.
I had
someone's
my-
gonna.
But
knock
it was
on my
bad.
window
Talking
and,
about
like,
scary stories.
It was
so
bad, and
My dad did that where he was he used to drive me out to school. Like, so we lived outside of Dallas, and he'd drive me to Tucson each year. Like, you know, for beginning of the year, winter break, and at the end of the year.
right.
It's like 14 hours. And so when he'd go back, he'd usually try to power through. And I mean, it's a long drive. And so one of those trips going back, though, like overnight, he was just like, can't do it. Like, going to pull over in a rest stop and, you know, get out, walk around, get some fresh air, maybe sleep, whatever. And, tell you how rest stops being sketchy and all. He's going, you know, back to his car. He's used the restroom. He's, you know, thinking about getting moving again. And this lady, like, kind of comes up to him asking him for money. And, you know, he's like, sorry, I don't have any money. And, but she's pretty persistent and, like, kind of follows him to his car. And he's like, looking around. Like, he was sure that this was, like, a setup for, you know, somebody to jump him, rob him, take the car, like, whatever it may be. So he was really hesitating between, unlocking and getting in the car or, like, kind of just keep walking by the car and try to make a quick run around at some point. But then he was worried that maybe she was luring him somewhere. And,
Wow.
you know, so he's telling me the story, of course, like, after he's, like, you know, gotten home and been home safe and whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, don't tell your mom about that. Yeah, I'm like, she'd be freaked out, yeah.
There's always this story that I hear about a lady who is pumping gas in the middle of the night, and then the gas station attendant says to her, ma'am, your credit card has been declined. Can you please come in and take care of this? No, my credit card's work. No, ma'am, you need to come inside. Your credit card's been declined. And he's very insistent. And then she says, out of frustration, fine. And she follows him inside. And then he locks the door and he says, I'm going to call the police. Someone climbed into your backseat while you were pumping gas.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I don't know if this is one of
That's
those.
creepy.
Right? I don't know if this is one of those. What's the word that I'm looking for?
Like urban legends.
Urban legend.
Hotels,
Urban
yeah.
legend. Yeah. But it's freaky. You know, I've seen like videos, gas station security camera videos of someone pumping gas, like a woman pumping gas on this side of the car, and a guy reaches in on the other side of the car through the passenger seat window and pulls her purse out.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. Where were we? Are we on the next one?
Do you?
How are we going to die? And what was the other question?
How do you think you're going to die? And if you had a week left to live, how would you
How
live
would
it?
you live it?
Fuck. I don't know. I'd be a
That answer changed for me when I was younger. I said I want to see as much of the world as I can, and I'm going to get on a plane and go to as many different places as I can.
You're spending a lot of time traveling.
Yeah, but
You only
these
have a
days
week.
now, at the age that I'm at, and with the where I am in my life with my family and my kids and stuff, I think that I would just lock the doors, turn every device off, and spend every last second with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
God,
know?
you're such a sweetheart.
Dude, I love my.
No, it's a great. It's
What's your happy place? Let me ask you that.
whew.
See how you have to think about that?
Yeah.
My answer is wherever my family is.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's here. I don't care if we're in Hawaii. I don't care if we're in the middle of the desert. I don't care if we're in a hurricane in the Caribbean. Wherever my family is, that's my happy place. I want my wife, my kids, and my pets with me.
No, if I had a week left to live, I wouldn't want to spend a minute without my wife there. Like, even if we were spending time with other family and friends, like, I wouldn't want to know that it could be over like in a second and like not have her there.
Yeah. I think that would be a regret, right? We're talking about regrets. That
like my initial thought was just like you were saying. I was thinking like I'd want to travel the world for a week with her, but I think that's the wrong. I think your way is kind of more what I'm thinking
you'll be
now.
on a
It's like
plane most of the time.
I'd rather just be our normal life, like for as long as I can have it, you know. without the normal distractions of work and everything else.
I don't know why, if you guys are making me cry.
Oh.
I've had a couple. They don't like me anymore.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Apparently we all do. Right?
Yeah, we are all
She still likes me.
divorced.
But,
Yeah, at least.
Well, we're friends now, but the first year or two was ugly. But everything is cool now.
As they
Everything
can
is
be.
very peaceful, and
ending
we're
relationships is
we're respectful
always tough,
to each
yeah.
other. Yeah. So,
I have a question.
yeah.
Deep dish or New York style?
That's a great question. So, my initial response, like my knee-jerk response,
Chicago deep dish, I mean, because there's
right.
varieties.
Sure.
My knee-jerk response is New York-style thin crust. It wasn't always that way. In my 20s, it was deep dish. It was Chicago deep dish. But that changed over the years. Now, and I will say this, I'll ask my kids, and I say this to both of them, and I've said this to both of them individually. Hey, what do you guys want to get for lunch? Are you hungry? Yeah, let's go. Let's get some burritos, or let's go get whatever. And I'll say, how about some Indian food? I'm craving Indian food. Oh, I don't really like Indian food. And then I'll say to them, when I was your age, I didn't like it either, but my palate matured. And it's the same thing with cocktails, and it's the same thing with everything else. Are you okay with cats? You want me to move them?
No.
Okay. So then don't hesitate to tell me if you want me to get rid of them.
Not at all.
I'll take them out of the room. So not get rid of them like,
Take them outside. Make sure
that's
they sleep with
Ferris.
the fishes. Like,
Some real Halloween
Ferris is,
slasher action. Yeah.
which is still,
He's
still one of
social.
my
He likes
favorite
meeting
names for a
people.
cat. I love that you named your cat Ferris.
He's named after Ferris Bueller.
That's pretty awesome.
So he's social. He likes meeting new people.
Say Ferris.
So I say that your palate will mature, and one day you will crave Indian food. One day you will crave a really creamy chicken tikka masala with naan bread, or one day you will crave like all these things that you think right now is that's gross. I don't like.
I mean,
If they try it, I know people my age that they're still shut down. Like I will not put that. I don't mean Indian food. It could be seafood. It could just be they've already made up their minds. Like this is something I don't like. I'm not open to trying it. I'm not gonna put it in my mouth. I'm done.
Yeah, and this is going back to the pizza. That's why I went from the thick crust to the New York thin crust, because in this long-winded answer, my palate evolved. That's how I see it. Because now, like, I look at a Chicago pizza and I think, like, that's too much.
So here's another thing.
Yeah.
Are you guys aware with pizza, like there are Chicago White Sox fans and Cubs fans, like there's different sides, like that there is also, depending on where you grew up, where you live, there's a thin crust Chicago style.
No, I didn't know that.
And it's a very thin crust. It's cut into squares.
And it's good?
Kind of almost like St. Louis style. Yeah, and it's also called Chicago style. It's
Wow,
very
I've
thin.
never had a thin
it's
crust
like cracker
cut into squares.
It's like cracker, almost like texture on the bottom. It's very
thin
crispy.
crust cut
Have you ever been at, like, there's a place on Cave Creek called Johnny's that does it really well.
Okay.
And if you go to Oregano's, which is like a chain we have a lot of transplants from the Midwest and Arizona.
Yeah.
So we have a
We have
lot
tons
of
of pizza,
different.
yeah.
So Papa John's used to have like a cracker thin crust
and that's probably based on
that they would cut it into squares.
It's a Midwest style
So-
thin crust pizza that's usually cut into squares.
Spanatos
But-
does like the thin crust square cut too.
Right.
Like,
And so if you're from certain areas in Chicago, they get pissed off that if you say Chicago style, you automatically assume that means deep dish. Because if you grew up in certain neighborhoods, they're like, that's not what we ate. Like we eat that really thin
Okay, so let me ask you along this same question.
cracker crust kind of pizza.
And this could apply for lots of different foods, but it could apply towards burgers, like the In-N-Out Burger versus Shake Shack. I have a strong opinion about that.
Yeah.
And
I think we're all three opinionated, which you can, if anybody's listening right now, you could probably
Right.
Because really the only thing that we've talked about right now is our opinions for the last hour.
That's what this whole podcast is about. So let's
I
go
have to
down.
know, like, where do you fall on that then? Like, what's your?
We're gonna talk about that real quick, but
Okay.
I was gonna say the other example was the Philly cheesesteak. There's some that say it should be provolone, and there's some that say it should be cheese whiz only.
Cheese whiz.
Right? So you like cheese whiz?
That's what's authentic. That's not what I like necessarily.
Some people would argue that.
I'm
that's-
from Philly, so like to me, it's Cheese Whiz is what's
Okay.
authentic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll eat provolone.
Right.
I like
I'm not saying
provolone
what's better.
too, but
That's my understanding, and I'm not from Philly.
So I know somebody that's from Philly,
California.
and I got a cheesesteak, and I posted a photo of it on my Facebook, and I said, proper with Cheese Whiz. And this person's from Philly, and she said, that is not proper for Philly. She said, Cheese Whiz is only by, and she said the name of the place. And then she said, provolone is proper. So I'm just saying what she said.
Yeah, no, everybody's,
Don't shoot the messenger.
and I grew up there, but, didn't spend the majority of my, formative years there.
I'm just saying what she said.
But,
she could be just spouting her opinion.
Yeah, no, and I mean, there is the main two places are, Gino's and Pat's,
yeah.
and they differ on
Tony
that
Luke's.
as well, so yeah.
But
So
ask her if
Cheese
she
Whiz.
likes.
That's my preference, yeah.
What's her favorite place to get a?
I like them both for the
What's the
record.
other
I do
sandwich
too,
they have
yeah.
there? That's even. It's very popular. It's like is it pork and broccoli, Rob? I
Yes.
think. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Don't know
and that's
that. Don't
even
know that
if you
one.
talk to a lot of locals, they'll tell you that's actually the sandwich. Like
Yeah.
it's the all the outsiders think we're all about the cheese.
I literally,
it's about the pork and broccoli Rob sandwich.
Yep.
Sharp. I think it's.
Can
like
we
a
get one of
sharp-
those out here?
I don't think there's any places that have them. I got.
We can't
one.
go get one after this?
My ex brought me one from Philly.
All right, let's talk about the In-N-Out versus Shake Shack debate.
So, I think unequivocally
debate?
that Shake Shack's burgers are the best of those two.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bold statement. Well, I think you got to consider price.
That's exactly, that was going to be
Price
my
is
argument.
definitely a problem.
These are
but
not-
straight up.
Well,
And
okay.
availability.
Okay, if we're
and
talking
consistency.
about, and not to anger our non-California listeners out there, if we're talking about taste, it won't even be those two burgers because there are better burgers
Oh
than
yeah,
both of them.
yeah.
Right.
But if we're
money's
doing-
not an option and we can just go wherever we want, sit down, we have as much time as we want.
Right. And
Yeah.
the reason why this debate goes on and on and on is because taste is subjective, right? But
Right.
if we're looking at value, you just can't beat an In-N-Out burger.
In my opinion, I agree with that 100%.
It's a double is $3 and change.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
a Shake Shack burger is $8 or something.
There's
like
no
it's
better fast
stupid,
food
yeah.
burger on the market
Right.
than an In-N-Out burger.
Right.
However, it's small. If you're hungry and you want a big burger that's going to be like your dinner, like fill you up.
But a Shake Shack burger is smaller than an In-N-Out burger.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, you
I
can
don't
get
feel
a
like it
double
is.
at Shake Shack though too.
Okay.
So.
I remember.
And I don't like just adding more patty. Personally, I'm not like a double, triple. Like, make me a bigger burger. I want a thicker, actual.
thicker bun or thicker
Yeah.
patty.
I think the Shake Shack,
You like
the
the thick
patties
meat?
tastier.
I love the thick meat. I like a meat with some girth.
Yeah, you like the creamy. What about the buns?
And I don't need any buns. For my Texas people, they're probably saying Whataburger. Do you know about Whataburger?
Yeah,
I
I
mean, we
went-
have Whataburger
yeah.
in Arizona.
Yeah, yeah.
But honestly, have you been to Whataburger in Arizona?
Dude, I went to Whataburger and I was like, well, I don't
Where?
see the hype.
Because the ones in Texas are way better than the ones that we.
I went to one in Dallas.
And
I
you
went
didn't think it
to
was
high school
great?
in Dallas, and I never ate at a Whataburger.
They're fucking incredible. I love Whataburger.
I didn't see what the hype. It wasn't a bad burger. It was, to me, it was just another burger.
Just another fast food burger. Yeah.
Now, I will say this, as somebody from Cali, a real treat to me, and you guys are going to shoot me for this, and so are our listeners. A real treat for me is White Castle.
I like White Castle. I love White Castle. But again,
Jared's shaking his
it
head.
is what it is. You don't like White Castle?
To me, it's they're like freezer burgers. Like you can. Warm
Do they
them
come
up
out of
at
the freezer
home.
though when they make them in the restaurant?
No, but
probably
they taste the
not.
same.
Yeah, but it's all the same.
So
I mean,
Like
the
the taste-
so
consistency
you can
is
get
the
you can
same.
get them in the freezer at like an Albertsons.
Yep.
I can
Right.
get 'em. And you know,
And I think that's
taste
why it's
exactly
got
the
that.
same.
They are similar because they're steamed.
Right.
A White
They're
Castle
steamed.
burger is steamed, so when you
It's
get the
made
microwave
differently.
version, if you open up the little packet, it steams inside of the packet, so it creates a similar
Yeah.
product to what you get in the actual restaurant. But it's unfair to call it. It's a different
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
it's a different thing.
It's a steamed.
And this is what I mean.
tiny-
Purpose.
they
There are
pretty much
so many
invented the
different
slider
burgers.
game.
There's so many different burgers. You ever watched the Burger Scholar on YouTube? George
No,
Motes?
but I'm interested.
He's awesome. He tells you the history of all these different kinds of burgers, the regional differences, and then he makes them on the show.
That's awesome.
And he knows his stuff. He's written several books, and he's very, very good at what he does. I'm jealous of what he does. And a lot of these burgers I didn't know anything about, so it's really kind of
like a Juicy Lucy in Minneapolis,
Yeah,
maybe.
all that kind
or
of stuff.
you know,
Yeah.
most Midwest burgers are like your average McDonald's burger, where it's just onions and pickles and mustard and ketchup.
yeah.
And then you go to West Coast and you get like
And look-
the In-N-Out spread kind of burgers with
Right.
lettuce. So like, yeah, burgers
will
are
say that-
super regional.
There is a time and place for the McDonald's double cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I had one last night on the way home. Like after I left you guys, I
I
stopped.
love McDonald's.
I
I
love
love
it.
it too.
I love it.
I think their fries are better than what you'll get in many steakhouses. Like McDonald's fries are one of my favorite things in the when it's right if they're sitting there and they're
Right,
kind of
right.
shitty, but if they're cooked right and fresh, McDonald's fries. And
Also,
I
one of my gripes about In-N-Out is the fries are not great. So, like, to me, like, you know, you're looking for that complete package.
I hear that a lot.
I do not like
it's a
the
love-or-hate
fries,
thing.
yeah.
I hear that a lot, and I think I said this to you.
We've talked about it.
I never thought that In-N-Out fries were the best. I never thought they were the worst.
No.
But there was a time when I was like, this was like in my 20s when I was like really like into just, I was eating In-N-Out all the time, and I stopped eating at McDonald's for probably like 6 months. It was always In-N-Out, you
Yeah.
know, and I had gotten used to eating their fries. And then one time I went to McDonald's and I had their fries, and they tasted really artificial to me. Because In-N-Out's fries, they cut them right on the spot, fry them.
True.
And now they do well done fries.
Okay.
And
To order, and they use a different oil that's
the well done fries are way better than the regular fries.
Okay.
Give that a try the next
Yeah, I
time.
will. I will.
For
I
me,
like
In-N-out
In-N-Out,
fries.
like, don't get me wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost like fought through a thing where like the first 5 times I ate them, I didn't like them, and then eventually I got past it and now I enjoy them. But I will say this: do not get them to go.
Okay.
Do not if you're not gonna eat at In-N-Out.
Yeah, you have to eat them right away.
They don't keep. In fact, when I go in In-N-Out to go and I get a burger, instead of fries on the side, I get another burger because or if you're not gonna eat those fries right away, they're
they're just no
toast.
good, yeah.
I don't care if you live 5 minutes away; they're done.
No, you're right.
By the time you get home.
At McDonald's, do you do the side of nuggets in place of fries?
I have the McDonald's by my house, which is like the only one that I know that does this, sells 6 McNuggets for $1, and most don't do that.
Ours just does that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of them they're like I've seen them as much
So-
as like $3.69, but for some reason some of them sell 4
Yeah.
for $1, but
A
for
lot
some
of
reason
them,
the
it's
one
just
by
like
my
the
house sells
the lowest one is like
6
10. Yeah.
for like 10 are usually like $4.49 or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know why, but the McDonald's by my house sells 6 for $1, and so yeah, I'll get them.
So real quick, I want to make sure that I'm respectful of your time because I know you have a long drive still.
Jared's the man.
How are you guys looking?
I'm just.
What time is it here?
Yeah, we're an hour ahead in Arizona, so
Let me
So
look.
is this our time?
that's our time.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4:18 here.
So whatever you're comfortable with, dude.
I want to be
am.
respectful of your time. I don't
I'd
want
say,
you guys
like, probably by 6.
Okay.
Would be our, like, kind of.
So
So we got
good.
about
Yeah.
42 minutes.
Yeah.
And
So
I think
by
we might be
6.
stopping by McDonald's on the way home, perhaps. Like,
It-
I don't
it's-
mean-
6 for us. Yeah.
it's
what was
you
your
know-
McDonald's order last night?
What's that?
What was your
cheeseburger.
McDonald's order last night?
Oh, I just
Full.
had a double
That's it?
cheeseburger and a water cup.
A water cup. All
Yeah,
right.
that's usually what I do because the double cheeseburger soaks up all the booze and the water rehydrates me.
You know the difference between a McDouble and a double cheeseburger?
No.
A slice of cheese.
Is it really?
No, I
2
thought-
slices of cheese on the double cheeseburger, 1 on the McDouble. That's it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I would bet everything
I
bet everything in my bank account.
I
right now.
read fast food hacks. They say order McDouble with Big Mac sauce, and you basically have a Big Mac.
Depends
True,
on
yeah.
the place, because some places do it for free. Some places will charge you $1. At that point, you're like,
Just
oh,
order
so
the
just
Big
get a
Mac.
Big
yeah,
Mac,
you might as well get a Big Mac, and also you need lettuce, and then you're missing the third. Like, and the McDouble used to be $1.99 back
Yeah,
in
now
the day.
it's like,
Now it's like
what?
$2.49
Yeah,
or
it's
so.
annoying.
Well, they still have
So,
that value
just
menu.
get a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Value menu is pretty awesome. So you'll get a double. I get a double cheeseburger. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll hit the McDonald's across the street from Tiki T on the way home. I'll get
that McDonald's.
I'll get a double cheeseburger and a 6-pack of nuggets. Yeah, and a water cup. And I think I'll spend like $3 or $4.
I haven't got a water cup since high school.
Oh, dude, you got to get the water because
I
the
don't
thing
put
is
water in it.
well, yeah, well, no, you have.
I'm a
Dude,
thief.
if you're going to bars, you got to be drinking water. You know. Oh no, I'm talking about the drive-thru. Yeah, so yeah, you got to be drinking the water, man. So, but hey, all right. Well, Thanks again for joining the podcast. Is there anything else that you guys wanna throw out your social medias?
Just
or
Tiki AZ, we are making a lot of changes right now, and coronavirus has obviously had an impact on the group, but coming up very soon we're gonna have some more events, Zoom meetings possibly, glassware is on its way, t-shirts are ordered, stickers, and educational seminars. So we're at Tiki AZ on Instagram, and tikiaz.com is the group on Facebook.
Okay, anything you want to promote, Jared?
Yeah, I absolutely support Tiki AZ. I wish and hope that more people listen to your podcast, as many people as possible, because it's been a huge gateway into this whole world of Tiki.
Into the drugs.
So, right? So, and I'm just hoping that everybody stays safe, and that next year is a better year for, bar crawling and traveling, right?
Yeah, me too. The thing is that we have a little bit of normalcy being able to go to the bars as long as we're masked and we're socially distant and responsible. So we're trying to enjoy what we can, but being responsible at the same time. So if you guys are out there, I'd love to see you at a bar and have a cocktail with you. I promise to wear a mask and be safe where I'm supposed to be, and and if you're going to the bars and stuff, they need us more than ever. So
support your local bar.
For sure.
Tiki bar, all bars.
Yeah. Let's do our part to keeping them in business.
Yep.
So.
If they got to-go cocktails, get them. Food, just tip heavily. Just support them.
There you go. All right, party people, we're gonna wrap this one up. Follow us at Polynesian Pop on Instagram, and if you want to leave a shout out for our friends here, join our group page on Facebook, Inside the Desert Oasis Room. Okay, party people, we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers and aloha.